What's up, you guys? So, I just wanted to do a separate video looking at the diagram of the autopsy from Shanquella Robinson because it is very telling. Like there's a lot of information we've been missing in this case, but the autopsy, especially the diagram, I feel like it gives us a lot more information on what happened to Shanquella. In my first video, I shared with you the narrative given by the medical examiner in North Carolina, who basically said they were unable to determine a cause of death. And when you look at the way Mexico handled her autopsy, they did a partial autopsy. The toxicology report, in my opinion, is incomplete because it doesn't include the ethanol results. Ethanol would be the chemical found in drinking alcohol. So with her friends, even though her friends are known to be liars, with them saying that she was drinking very heavily, to me it would be important to include that information. But all they have is a note at the top saying so and so talked to so and the report was negative. So to me, that's not credible. To me, that's not credible. And so if you want more details on what the medical examiner in North Carolina, the information they were going off of when they came to their conclusion, if you want that information, make sure you check out my first video. In this video, we're going to get into the diagram of Shanquella's body. I will say this, if this is too much for you, if you have like a sensitivity to this, I would suggest that you go on and watch a different video because what I'm about to show you guys is shocking. It's shocking. And some of you guys I know suspected it. I suspected it as well, but I didn't want to say anything. But when they were talking about femicide, and femicide is when a person, a woman is intentionally killed because of their gender, whether it's an expression of their gender, like they're pregnant, and so they're killed because they're pregnant, or maybe they're killed in the middle of a essay, or something to that effect where their gender is part of the reason that they are killed, is considered femicide. And so when I look at these images of Shanquella's body, and you see the abrasions, these scribbles that you see, this is a medical examiner drawing the abrasions. And when you look at the front of her body, her lower abdomen, like her bikini area, and you see all these abrasions, to me, it looks like essay, like attempted essay, like she is bruised and battered near her sexual organs. And I hate that. I hate that. It's like this is just getting worse. This whole situation is like it's just getting worse. But let's start from the top. She does have this knot on her head. The medical examiner gave a narrative that maybe she hit her head. We don't know if she hit her head or if someone made her hit her head because the way she's bruised here, first of all, it looks like a different altercation from the way Dejanay was fighting her. Dejanay was fighting her like a man, like she was throwing her body around the room, if you guys remember that video. And so that's different from the abrasions you see here. But we know that Shanquella was jumped. The video that was released was a clip. We all know that there were multiple videos. I don't know if those videos will ever see the light of day. But when this video came out with Dejanay, it was mentioned by the North Carolina Beat, I believe, that there were multiple videos. He was sent this one, but this was not the only one because she was jumped. And so, in my opinion, it looks like these abrasions are from a separate assault. It could have been by the same person, it could have been by somebody else, but just the way that they bruised her, it looks like SA to me. So, I'm going to read you the description of it from the autopsy. We'll start with the lines you see. The straight up and down lines, those are described as patterned, horizontally oriented abrasions extending across the lower abdomen and around to the right flank lower back area. Now, the thing about it is, the dotted line you see in the picture looks like it represents the person's genitals, right? So it looks like it's right above her genitals. So you see in the autopsy, the text of the autopsy, they don't use the word genitals. They just keep saying lower abdomen, upper thigh, and lower abdomen. But they say in the lower abdomen, there's the pattern abrasions. So whatever bruised her had some type of pattern to it. We don't know what it was, but it had some type of pattern. And you can also see on the posterior, you can see that same pattern. The bruises right below that on what I would call like I guess you would say the upper genital area, those are described as multiple irregular geographical abrasions along the bilateral lower abdomen and upper anterior thighs. That's what looks like SA to me. That's what looks like SA to me. I have to be honest with you guys. That's what looks like SA to me. And it makes you wonder at this point, did she have on a bottom where they're trying to get her bottom off? Because it's like right above her genital area and it's also on her upper thighs and on her hip. It just makes you wonder, like, what type of fight was this? Then, as you can see on the other side, her arms are also scratched up. Also, when you look at the top of her body, they mention the abrasions that are on her arms. And again, we see her forehead, the knot on her forehead, the scratches on her cheek. Her eye is also, there's a blood vessel that bursted in her eye. And you can see from her back, she was on her back fighting. And we saw in the original video, like, she didn't want to fight. She was being assaulted. I shouldn't even say fighting. She was being assaulted. And she said she didn't want to fight back. Like, she's not a fighter. So you can see where she has all these abrasions on her back, like she was on her back being assaulted. Now, they also mentioned her fingernails. They said her fingers and her toes had white nail polish, but by the time North Carolina got to see her body, the white nails, her fingernails had been clipped because they were evaluated in Mexico. And all that was determined that was underneath her fingernails was some type of ink. She had some type of ink underneath her fingernails. So this gives us more insight into what happened to Shanquella. It's extremely unsettling. The way this investigation has been handled is unsettling. And I feel like seeing the visual representation of her body, it brings up even more questions of what happened to her. Like I said, it looks like SA, that's my opinion, but it just brings up more questions. What really happened to her? What caused all these abrasions, these bruises on her body, in her bikini area? Like, it brings up more questions. But I don't know that we'll get more answers. But leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this information. As always, thanks for watching.